What is going on, my fellow Dungeoneers? Welcome to For the XP, a YouTube channel dedicated to Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop gaming all alike. My name is Brent, in case you forgot, and I am the host of this show, and happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there who bred children for this world. I know I had a great Father's Day. Thank you so much for my wonderful girlfriend for providing me with this amazing gift. I am a proud owner of a bag of holding. I am now an official adventurer. It is a great gift. It's a dragon scale leather bound, I think, and it holds a lot of crap. That's besides the point. Again, happy Father's Day to all. And let's go ahead and get started with this video. This video is going to be all about building encounters and a specific tool that you could use to build for your encounters. It's more based and targeted for starter DMs because this is something I used in particular for when I started DMing. If you're a starter DM, you should have already purchased your player's handbook, your monster manual, and your trusty Dungeon Master's Guide, which is the book that we're going to be particularly using for this tutorial. I don't want to say tutorial, but this explanation of the tool that I'm going to particularly talk about. Now, on page 82 of your Dungeon Master's Guide, there is a couple of charts. It's called the XP threshold charts for encounters. There is a big one that goes from level 1 to 20, and it goes from easy to deadly, which is the type of the difficulty of the overall encounter. To the bottom right of that, there should be an encounter multiplier table that we will get to here in a little bit. Now, basically, how you would use this chart is you would take the level of each player that you have and then base it off the chart, the first chart to explain the big one that goes from level 1 to 20, and you would pick the level of difficulty of the encounter that you're trying to go for. So later on in this video, I'm going to show you what I basically went off of, which was level 3 players for a hard encounter, and I'll go to the table later and kind of explain to you what I did for a brief example of how to make an encounter with that. Tips for actually running, or for an overall tip for actually picking the encounter. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure that there is a reason for your creatures to go there. Make sure that there is overall continuity. Now the next part of actually using this chart is after you figure out what kind of difficulty you're going for, making sure you add all the experience points as stated below on the chart below. For my encounter, I chose hard and level 3 characters, and I have 4 of them, so there's 225 experience points each for each player, which comes to 900 experience points. And the way this 900 experience points works is that it's kind of like currency to buy monsters with. So let's go ahead and go to the table, and I'll show you the encounter that I came up with. Alright, everyone, through a little bit of thinking and using the rusty, dusty, trusty monsters manual, I came up with a small encounter. As we said before, we have 3rd level party members, and we have 4 of them, equaling a total of 900 XP's worth of damage threshold for a hard encounter. Now, if it was going to be an easy encounter or a deadly encounter, you would have less XP to work with. But I figured a hard encounter would, in fact, be a little bit better of a representation of how this system would work. I decided that I wanted it to be a swamp encounter, and you find what do you find in swamps? Crocodiles and bullywugs. So I came up with the idea of having 2 mounted bullywugs, where they are mounted on top of crocodiles, which kind of boosts the encounter just a little bit, and I'll explain how that works. And then 4 regular bullywugs with them, so a total of 6 bullywugs and 2 crocodiles. Now, bullywugs are 50 XP's worth each, but now that there is a total of 6 bullywugs, as shown in the multipliers chart in the pictures I showed you before, the multiplier for having 3 to 6 of one single creature is times 2. So 6 times 50 equals 300 XP, and then you multiply that by 2, which making the total encounter threshold for the bullywugs total is 600 XP. And if you know crocodiles, crocodiles are a little bit tougher than bullywugs, and they are worth 100 XP each. And since there are 2 of them, you multiply those by 1.5, as shown in the encounter multiplier chart that I showed you previously. So 100 plus 100 is 200, because there are 2 crocs, so 200 times 1.5 is, so that would make it 300. So 300 XP's worth of crocodiles. Crocs. Bullies. Call them crocs and bullies. I apologize for my god-awful handwriting. This is me coming up with this on the fly. So already we have 900 XP's worth of a hard encounter. And already just by based off that, you kind of have somewhat of a unique encounter. Yes, it's kind of tropey with swamps and bullywugs and crocodiles, but you threw in that spin of having them mounted, so the bullywugs can move at the same pace as crocodiles would in the swamp. Even though I think their swim speed are the same. Regardless of which, there's a lot of potential damage output out there just for the crocs alone and the bullywugs, potentially throwing spears at your party members. One of the things you can do to improve your encounters would be to throw in environmental encounters. Something that I might do is since they are in a swamp and they would probably be fighting these creatures in a very sludgy, muddy area, you can make all the terrain difficult for all the characters, and not necessarily for the bullywugs and crocodiles, because that would be kind of like a native terrain kind of thing, so they wouldn't have the penalties of a difficult terrain. And so basically what that means, if you have difficult terrain for your party members, means that every 5 feet they move counts as 10 feet. So if you have a character that has a movement speed of 30 feet, instead of being able to move 6 squares, they can move 3. They can only move 3 squares, or 3 inches if you're gridless, if you're gridless. So there's that, and that's something that you could possibly consider. It's not necessarily the greatest example I ever came up with, but it's definitely something possible that I might actually use. That's actually kind of a decent encounter for me. It's definitely one of those kind of like starting off kind of encounters. They're not like necessarily the toughest encounters like what you would find with like a dragon or something. So if you're hoping for something like that, I could definitely provide something like that. If you'd like, just let me know in the comments down below. And if you would like any other kind of videos, leave down in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it 100%. Thank you to my loyal subscribers who are still waiting on me to make a video, unless they completely forgot I existed. Regardless of which, it's glad to be back. I'm going to do my best to provide more video content. I'm just in the middle of being a father and working. It's kind of, the time kind of has gotten a little weird for me. If you have any video ideas that you would like for me to do, post them in the comments below. I do know that there is some crafting videos I kind of want to do. I'm a dungeon crafter myself, as inspired by DM Scotty and the DMG and Wylock and all that. I could show you how I crafted stuff like this, or any other dungeon tiles like this, or just show off my crafts altogether. I crafted a gelatinous cube using DM Scotty's 2.5D system. So it would be more or less showing off what I do more or less. And then if there's a tutorial I can do, I will definitely do it. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you enjoy my face and my personality and all that fancy jazz and you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button. And as always, no matter what you do, do it for the XP. Have a good day.